on both sides. But this jump into sight from Penny to be able to take down TenZ kind of opens the door for the 3-man Heaven setup, and then the turret's just giving them contact. So weak on Effie's and Whippy. They're not going for a force buy here, nothing crazy. Just kind of accepting going down 10-4.
Oh, spots a jump peak. Shaz down early. Not the player you want to go down.
Now, Brent, I was talking about how good Version 1's attack sides are. Sentinels have been lagging so far in 2022. They are not only second worst in their pistol round win rate, they're second worst in their attack side win rate across
insane.
VCT as well. Again, the only team underneath them is the struggling 100 Thieves roster.
That is insane considering their scoreline or their current standings in the group.
Absolutely.
That's a ridiculous
This
stat.
match could take them anywhere from first to third in the group. So it's wild that they have such rough stats but are still managing to put up the wins. I think that speaks to the experience and talent on this Sentinels roster.
Yeah, for sure. Really just having a field day, man. Push it against the ecos. This is a player as well. You don't want to give this guy kills.
I was going to think that, but
Prime Game and Flawless, by the way.
Another Prime Game and Flawless, as you'd expect. But yeah, Penny's stats are just nuts. And it's not just his stats, obviously, but his impact. Compare the Jet v Jet, there is no stat where TenZ is higher.
I mean, that's crazy.
Isn't that
is
mad?
crazy, yeah. You told me that before the groups. I mean, I find it difficult to believe.
Look at that, kind of like a reverse one-way from Xander. Normally people put that on the other half wall.
Yeah.
So this one blocks it off even more difficult for the attackers to get through, I think.
A quick little clear of that alarm bot in mid, Sentinel, so they're going to be causing a bit of misinformation. Not necessarily misinformation, but definitely going to keep V1 guessing as to whether or not they are pushing through that mid area.
They close the door, get Effies to watch the spawn in case there's anybody lurking extremely deep, and Shaz drones Sick into Cat, looking for that opening kill. I think Sick is still only sat at 4 kills so far across 14 rounds, so him being able to find an entry would be a big morale boost as well for the guy.
Backed up, door going to get broken now. Is this going to be signaling that B split? Looks like Sentinels were setting up for it, but the players of V1 are more than ready. They've already got them here. Flash in hand. Zelsis getting ready to support him at the back of the site. The flash goes over. It's a classic play. They love to do it. The Sentinels players, they're hardly even in the sight. Sick holding the angle right round the corner, but the headshots are just flowing through. Spectre online. Shaz in the back. 35 HP though. The 1v2 does have better weaponry. Finds the one, but
Got 2 in market to stop a push coming through, which means both of their B players can dip to backside and Zelsis can flash himself through Catwalk to help. And that delay and the fact that Version 1 just get the read on what's happening makes that push all too easy for them to shut down. And they win the bonus. They're 11-4 up.
I mean, that's absurd. Take flight. Drone used by Shaz. Has to maybe clear market with this one as well. Oh, it gets destroyed. So now they are going to have to use more utility to clear Wine even. I assume that there's a player there because of the swing that was taken by Xander to kill that drone.
Yeah, that's the kind of play that you normally only make if you've already pushed a player into Wine. So you can see that Zoms is pretty cautious of it at the moment. But it looks like Sentinels are not aiming to go towards A to finish anyway. So they're not really worried about there being a player over there. They don't have any B main control though. They have some level of information, but Shaz doesn't have the drone. 45 seconds left. They don't control deep mid or Cat. This is going to be a really tough push for Sentinels. And that's before you factor in they've only got Sheriffs.
And they don't have much time left. It's quite orchestrated. Zelsis is just watching mid, but as soon as the paranoia comes through, the turret also takes that contact. And now Zelsis nades into the back. Flash inside the smoke, just in case there's a player holding inside of it. Spams it, 20 seconds remaining, and are still not on the site. Finally, the burst comes through. Can the players get anything done? No! The answer is a resounding no. Xander with 3 on the spray.
Type of games is get crazy rounds from TenZ or Sick that make up for the lack of kind of strategic prowess, let's say. And that individuality is what you're looking for Sentinels to do well in patch 4.04. You're looking for that loose style. For the paranoias, TenZ popping off. Here he goes for the entry.
All right. Paranoia was used earlier. That is a nice nade. Bullet tag. That's enough. Xander slowed down to a crawl. Couldn't actually find his mark, but the swing comes down anyway. Okay, into hell. Penny's up top as well.
We're playing this attacker side was absolutely stellar, and there was a couple rounds that I wanted to pick out specifically. This first one is talking about the KO and the pace that it gives V1. There's no Astra on the other side to slow them. There's no Gravwell. It allows them to play that disrespectful style. Even though there was a lot of these rounds where they were using the KJ ult, you know, keeping things slow, not letting these ego rounds slip away. On the rifle v rifle, they use pace to the absolute best. And I want to pick out this point in the round too, because it's a re-flashback on in. It's re-aggression in the late round. Zelsis on this KO was like a continual force of pressure in practically every single round. And early on in the round, it was the knife. Then it was the flash towards the later throws. Sen got completely dismantled. And despite the changes to Astra, it was still looking good. The thing is, Xander just played very reactively, right? Like, he wasn't pre-positioning stars. He was waiting till the late round to do it, and we see it here. He had 2 stars up. One for mid, one out towards B. They get the info that it's an A heavy play. Stars are up. Sight is free. And what I want to call out here, too, is, again, how Zelsis is playing in towards the post. In towards these late rounds, right? He's a guy who's, well, he's a very supportive agent. He can also play it kind of just like a duelist, just taking these fights very forward. And that's what he does here. He does not give any space for these lesser weapons to lock them on in, and then it's the ult committed again. This is the element of, in the early round, they will be disrespectful with the pace, but once that spike is down, they realize how powerful their opponent can be. They know how good Sentinels is with the pistols, so they give them space. They give them space, but it's not near the site whatsoever, right? There's no way that version 1 is going to be locked on out of this one, and then in the end, it's just kind of a shutdown completely, right? Couple gunfights, one all good, but the biggest point of that round is that despite the Astra changes, they're still finding power with that. And despite
and I actually wanted to pull up Sentinels because I thought the opposite was kind of true. This is the bonus round when they're on attack that they finally have rifles and V1 don't. But Sick is only able to buy 1 flash at the start of the round. They then use drone up onto catwalk a little bit late into it, and you can see all of the fights they put themselves in, they're never coming in with utility to put them at the advantage. They're at a point where they have 1 flash, and they use it in mid very early on to try and clear out market, I believe. And now Sentinels are sort of stuck in market after breaking the wall. They're smoked off in B main. Like, their only ability to get out onto the site is to flash dash into a smoke, whereas V1 still have the suck you can see from Xander. You have the KO flash from back towards defender spawn. Like, V1 have the utility left late in the round to put themselves into a winning line, whereas Sentinels, it's
always been a rough one. And I want to start to pivot this conversation towards picks, because as you see there, the most recent comp for version 1, it was something that really excited me. They were playing Breach, they were playing Sky, they were playing that Sovilis EU style composition. They've changed it up a little bit. They're rocking with the KO instead of the Sky, but I like that even better. I feel like Zelsis with this KO has such a higher ceiling than he would with the Sky. We know Effie's is excellent on the Breach, the way he was setting Penny up for success, and hey, this is what you were talking about in the pre-show, right? It's similar to Cloud9 in that it's triple flashes. The jet is going to be in your face, and it's just going to be so much utility just stacking on top. There are 5 flashes that this team has to work with, and then just 2 insane individuals in Whippy and in Penny on these roles that allow them to thrive and to just frag.
We saw Leaf completely take over the server with a very similar comp against the guard. Penny is now in a position to do that, and it doesn't matter how good Sentinels are defending on the site. V1 coming in on the attacking app. I want to see how they use